Hey everyone, my name is Burgoa, but you can call me JR, and I'm the founder and CEO of Social Market. And this is my partner, Leon Hitchens. He's the CMO of Social Market, and this is Social Ledger Report.
I'm excited. We had a break last week, Good Friday, and
Yeah, it
it
was
has
Good
been
Friday.
a whirlwind of news, especially this week on Twitter.
Yeah. So I know last week we didn't give you. There were some big stuff that happened, but we couldn't give it to you the updates. However, we were kind of debating whether we should maybe use some of those news for this week's episode, but there's actually some even bigger things that we want to cover. So let's kick it off. So, I think the biggest thing we saw this week is the Trump meme coin dinner. Do you have any particular things to say about it, Leon?
The fact that it's a meme coin and Trump and it's I just got so many thoughts on it. I think it's good
Yeah.
and bad. I think it's like good for the crypto space, but also like the fact that it's a meme coin, you know?
Yeah. So generally meme coins are really bad gambles because there's hardly any utility behind them. However, this is probably the first meme coin I'm seeing that has utility, which, I don't say it lightly. However, so just to read this Twitter post that this guy made, which I think it was a really good post. He talks about the New York Times is reporting that President Trump has offered a private dinner to the top 220 investors in its meme coin, which caused his meme coin to surge in price. The flashy online announcement called it the most exclusive invitation in the world. A chance to have an intimate private dinner with President Trump at his members only golf club in Virginia, followed by a tour at the White House. And then, here's a link to the article, which we can add it here at the bottom of the description if you have access to New York Times. So then he
Yeah,
goes
you
down
know,
to, sorry, go ahead.
one thing that I was thinking is this feels very much
Mhm.
like the NFTs for a little while. NFTs had these
Yeah.
kind of like in-person utilities. Bored Apes specifically would throw parties for their holders. I'm kind of
Yes.
curious. One, two things. They're calling them investors, and then I wonder how much they own, like in in this, like how much are they whales? Like, do they own a vast majority of it, or is it like just a smaller portion and then that's why. Also, like the fact is,
Yep.
I could see a bunch of people buying a ton to just get access to Trump.
Yes. So I think right off the bat, this is probably the most or the biggest utility we've ever seen because having access to talk to the most powerful person on the planet, and I don't say that lightly either, is huge. It's a very oligarchy kind of thing because you gotta pay to win. You gotta pay to even have access to that opportunity. So that could also backfire, having giving someone access to that much kind of power. So uh this guy, he talks more about it, but I'm not gonna get into it. Instead, why don't we look at his website? So this is his website. It's gettrumpmemes.com. And there's this little, up on the bottom right, well, little announcement where he talks about it. So if you access it, it gives you more details. You can register now, but really it just takes you so you can buy more Trump meme coins. Right now, the Trump meme coin, I gotta refresh it. I was having issues with my Wi-Fi before this call, so all right, it won't work for me right now. So this is my Coinbase. Right now, the coin is about $13.14.
What was
And
its high? Its high was like 34, 35.
it
Oh
was
wow,
74.
74.
Yeah. So this is Coinbase, so the prices differentiate a little bit or fluctuate. I mean, it's all preference. I mean, the fact that you can buy Trump meme coin on Coinbase, it's pretty big. I'm not surprised though. So,
Especially after he got like taken off Facebook and kicked off Twitter and then became president again. But
yes.
like as soon as he launched his coin, everybody flocked to it and said like we're gonna support it and everything. It's Solana based, right?
Yep. It's very much Solana based. Yeah, sorry, my Okay, so there it is. Sorry for that. So if you go to CoinMarketCap, which we'll have the link down below, you can see here it is a Solana smart contract, or I think it's a smart contract, yeah. You can have access to, everything you want to look at here, where you can buy it. I'm surprised it's not available on Coinbase here. But yeah, I mean, for this is probably a better chart now that I think about it. So the all-time high was like $74 on Coinbase, but here it's 69.76, so right below 70. And for a long time, it was sitting like at $20. Recent history was like $8. But then, this last week it surged by like $15. So I think, maybe at least 30-50% if I'm just guesstimating the math. But that's huge. Degenerates are probably capitalizing as we're speaking. So
No, I
I still think NFTs have better utility than meme coins, if I'm being honest.
yes, but I see the meme coin as the new NFT. Like everyone, like NFTs
Okay.
were hot because they were art and this and that, and people said they'll hold their value. None of that is true. Weren't most NFTs were Solana based too, right?
A lot of them were Ethereum based for a long time, and then transaction fees were high, or rather gas fees. Famously, someone spent over $1 million in gas fees trading the Bored
Yes.
Ape NFTs. So slowly we started shifting to Solana because of those gas fees. And now Solana is like the most popular blockchain where people are using their money or volume, volume wise, it's very popular. So, I mean, I think you bring a good point. You think, meme coins are another form of NFTs. I can kind of understand that.
Yeah,
Utility wise,
it's
not the same.
kind of an art, and like a meme
Hmm.
coin is going to be the closest representation to something in real life. Like this is a Trump coin. There's Melania coin. I could see, Cuban. Like I think Mr. Beast has talked about launching a coin. Like if these folks tie it to that, like it's just another NFT. I think these meme coins are a little bit of a fad, but you tie it to like that. You tie it to community. Like you launch a meme coin tied to community, you get special like features if you hold more than $100. It's kind of like if you hold more than $100 in stock in like Carnival Cruise Lines, you get like a discount. Same thought here. It's kind of like creator coins. Like what DeSo wanted to do.
Yeah, so graded coins was very different. They're still to some fashion meme coins or a token in of itself. For those of you who don't know, so DeSo is the decentralized social network, decentralized social blockchain, I mean. And something they did in 2021 is they allowed anyone to, when they created their account, they can automatically mint their own token. People would buy it. They're effectively investing in you as a creator. So we're seeing all kinds of tokens, and now we're going to start to see real world assets tokenized or RWAs. You're going to start hearing RWAs a lot more to that point. But yeah, other than that, Leon, I don't think I have any more thoughts on this whole Trump meme fiasco. Do you have any final thoughts on this?
No, no, nothing to add there. I wish I got invited.
Same, same.
My
I sold
fifty
my meme
dollars
coin.
doesn't count.
I had like over $200 at one point, but I lost like, well, I made it. I broke even because it went up and then it went down. I didn't sell, but then I sold the day of the inauguration, which made me not lose all my money. So
Yeah, that's good.
you got to take your wins sometimes.
Yeah.
So anyways, so the next story, we're actually talking about Coinbase and PayPal. So Coinbase and PayPal are two giants in the fintech space, but recently they just, decided to merge together. Well, I'm sorry, work together to work with PayPal's stablecoin, and it's called PYUSD. So
So
this is from Coinbase.
the part that I don't get PayPal stablecoin. Like
Oh yeah.
I I get the stablecoin, but like I don't get how it works on PayPal. Like, can I just pay everybody in stablecoin and then they have a like in theory, if I paid people on PayPal stablecoin, would I save money in fees? Like if I sent somebody in the Philippines $100, would they, have a better rate in stablecoin than they would in getting it in their currency? Like I don't know how PayPal's gonna win here.
Yeah, it's a good point. So PayPal, a lot of people don't like it. I don't fully trust PayPal as I once did. I still use it for convenience though, so I'm kind of a hypocrite in that sense. However, PayPal gets it. Like they understand the opportunity with the market. Here they are attempting to release their own token. Stablecoins are probably the most popular because they're the less, confusing ones. There's less scams happening with stablecoins. I don't think there's been any scam with stablecoins as of yet. But, in this case, Coinbase and PayPal are working together because Coinbase is going to offer effectively PYUSD in their platform, and they're going to have it at a low conversion. So,
I believe it's 0 feet.
yes. So, on this article from Coinbase, you can find the link also below. The TLDR, we're expanding our partnership with PayPal to accelerate adoption, distribution, and utilization of the PayPal USD stablecoin. That was a bit of a mouthful sentence. So Coinbase will enhance PYUSD's utility by supporting one-on-one ratio of PYUSD USD conversions across its best-in-class custody and trading platforms. And we will explore the development of new on-chain use cases for PYUSD. So that's the too long gonna read. And one more thing I would like to highlight in this article is the adoptions of stablecoins for faster, low-cost payments is core to Coinbase's mission of accelerating access to financial freedom. Stablecoins are already transforming the global payment system with transaction volumes surging 250% from 6.2 trillion to 22 trillion between 2023 and 2024. Our relationship with PayPal will take the payment revolution forward. So that
Yeah,
was a
I think the
very strong.
problem that I have with it in the end is I get, it's a pegged 1-to-1 USD. I
Yeah.
think it's an ERC20 coin. It's backed by this entity called like Paxios or something. The
Okay.
problem that I have with it is you're still converting everything into USD. So like if somebody in Vietnam gets paid with this, they're still going to go to USD, then they're still going to have to convert it to their currency. Like it's I see the lack of, like, I think it's really cool, but I don't see the benefit on PayPal. Like it'd be one thing if you were beating fees on PayPal via this way. Like if PayPal was like, "Hey, instead of, getting 5 to 8% taken from currency exchanges and our fees, you're now like getting only 2% taken in theory."
Yeah,
It would make sense to me, but that also goes counter to them being a public company and maximizing profits and all of that. Like the
for
good
sure.
user experience would be you buy the stable coin 1-to-1, no fee, and then you send it, and the fee, is whatever the fee is, 3%, 4%, and then PayPal just lets the currency conversion happen on the other side because they beat the remitting of payment. It's kind of like what Ripple promised with money. What's that? Western Union.
Western Union
Yeah,
or
with the
cross-border.
remitting across borders, like they were going to use
Yeah.
Ripple to kind of beat fees and currency exchanges, so that Western Union would have the lowest fee to send money.
Mhm.
This was pre-COVID, pre-SEC and everything. I don't know what ever happened to that, but like that's the small part that I'm kind of like, where does this benefit the PayPal user? Like
Yeah, you bring a good point. So PayPal, is still widely used worldwide. I've made payments to contractors. I'm sure you can also agree with that. In fact, I think you have more experience on it than I do.
yeah, I pay everybody on PayPal just because it's easier. Like TransferWise is an
Right.
okay option, but TransferWise operates like a bank. PayPal's not really a bank. Like, and you say you don't trust them. I don't trust them, but I don't keep any money in there. Like if I get money immediately to a FDI insured bank account, like they could shut you down tomorrow.
Absolutely. Same
Like
here.
the part that I see that's a benefit here is there's no fees when you send or receive it,
Yeah.
but when you sell it, you got standard crypto fees, and you can withdraw it to external wallets. Like I think the one really cool part would be if PayPal issued a debit card, and you know, they do have a debit card. If you could access your stablecoin via that debit card and draw down off of that, you'd beat almost all fees. And I think
Yeah.
that would be really cool because you're talking like if you're paying with a credit card, you're 2.9%. If you're doing, if you don't have a credit card that has foreign transaction fees covered, there you've got currency conversion fees. Like I still think that there's a long way for PayPal to go, but it is a good first step. I'm struggling to wrap my head around it.
Yeah. So Coinbase and MetaMask, they're already offering debit cards, which you can use your stable coins, you can use even your Ethereum or any other L1 tokens. So I wouldn't be surprised if we will be able to use USDC or PYUSD on any PayPal product. I mean, transaction fees are the essence of any business model for any fintech product and payment provider like PayPal or Coinbase. So you can still expect, I would still bet that you can expect transaction fees. They might be lower, for stable coins. And maybe the margin profits for PayPal would be higher, but you know, you can still expect there to be transaction fees at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah, and I think if they cut the fees, they make it better. The experience is smoother, and like they offer debit card options, all that stuff. I could see this being a really cool way for anyone in the world to do it, to get paid to use it, and then be able to like support it in so many ways. But I see PayPal tacking on fees, still doing currency exchanges, still having the sales of these cost, all of that.
For sure. So, other than that, Leon, I don't have any other thoughts on Coinbase and PayPal. Do you have any other thoughts?
No, no, we've got one more topic, and I actually think it's a big important one.
Yes. So, if you've seen a pattern with today, we've been talking about traditional markets, well, not markets, but like old standards being broken just because of crypto, which what I like about these calls in the first place is that we get to kind of see this dynamic that is crypto and blockchain intersect with the very dynamics of real world and traditional markets. So we've seen a lot of that today alone. However, we have one more, and that is about the Federal Reserve withdrawing crypto guidance for banks. So I'm not surprised. We have a very different administration that we did on 2022 and 2023. So
Yes,
do you have thoughts for that?
and you're seeing a really big interest from the traditional banks to engage in crypto, and so the old guidance, I guess it was 2022, 2023. What I don't recall the year. It said it required banks to ensure crypto activities were legally permissible and safe. Signal, like all of that. That's a new part to it. It
Yep.
means that a lot of these banks could start engaging in stable coins. Um,
Yeah,
and I
totally.
think the reason why stablecoin is much more appealing than anything else that is in crypto right now is it keeps the traditional finance system alive. It keeps the regular banks, the regular government currencies at the key point. It kind of turns them into a gold because they have to have a reserve, they have to have so much cash, and they back it that way. Versus like a Bitcoin, which in some ways is a digital gold, but it's kind of an affront to the traditional fiat currencies. So them saying, "Hey, this is the withdrawal of it," but more than anything, these companies are looking at stable coins. They're kind of being like, "Hey, this is our way to enter it, figure out how to do it, but also do it in a safe way because we're working with companies that are holding U.S. dollars and in very large amounts."
Yeah. So One thing I would expect is the prices of Bitcoin or any other, major blue chip crypto to go up because banks are just going to be buying it for a reserve, especially Bitcoin. But we're also seeing, Ethereum and Solana being widely adopted as some sort of reserve as well, or strategic reserve, as Trump has labeled it before. So, here it says the Federal Reserve on Thursday announced the withdrawal of guidance for banks related to their crypto asset and dollar token activities and related changes to its expectations for these activities. These actions ensure that the board's expectations remain aligned with evolving risks and further support innovation in the banking system. So, I mean, crypto is already supposed to be the financial upgrade that the world needs. And what I mean by that is, you know, Western Union, charges 25% transaction fees on cross-border transmittance and
Oh, really?
transactions,
25%? Holy shit. Didn't realize it was
remittances, I
that
mean.
high.
Yeah, so 25%. So if you're sending $100 to your family in Mexico or something, they're going to get $75 and the provider keeps $25. So that's a lot of money. So with crypto and stable coins and Bitcoin, what it does is it sends that in minutes and transaction fees are usually in the dollar amount. Whereas even in Western Union, they won't get their money for like days at least. So, you tell me which system is more efficient. So the other thing is, this is an article by CoinDesk, and here kind of just goes more into detail. One thing, this is Dave Portnoy. I hope I didn't mispronounce that. So he's also
Doesn't
a really
matter.
good. What's that?
Dave's cool, but it doesn't matter.
No, yeah, he's a really cool guy. He's really smart. So if you guys don't already know him, he gives out really good, no bullshit kind of advice on the crypto space. Go, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, yeah. The other thing I'm thinking about too is I think these banks are looking at this as a way to hedge against inflation too. Like
Yes.
if inflation starts hitting and people are realizing it, and you know they feel it immediately, they might flock more to crypto. That's like increasing. The demand will go up. It will benefit crypto in the long run. Like there's a few thoughts I have now about the inflation part.
Yeah.
I could see that. It's just like Cash App. Like when Cash App or Cash, whatever that app's called now, started
You
offering
mean,
it, I know that everybody started flocking to it in the initial days. Like their volumes on crypto trading were increasing significantly. People were just buying because it was in the app. And I feel like if it all of a sudden is in your bank account, you're just gonna go, oh, I could buy a little bit of Bitcoin. I've got a little bit of savings. Like maybe I just do it this way. Like it's going to be much easier because right now it is kind of hard. You got to go to Coinbase. You got to like connect bank accounts. You got to go through the verification process. If it's just there, and then you can go take it to your Coinbase or you do any of that. Like you could do it. I want them to open this up to credit cards. I want my points.
yeah, so credit cards are widely used. I think that anyone who uses credit cards, mostly in America, if we can get Bitcoin for that, that's a great opportunity there. This is all non-financial advice, of course, but you know, I use my credit card for everything, and all of that is mostly just to get cash back. So
Yeah,
one thing I'll say is this is based on the conversation that Dave Portnoy had with the CoinDesk spokesperson, I believe. So the Federal Reserve has joined its fellow U.S. banking regulators in deleting its crypto guidance for previous years, including notices that the banks should get pre-approvals before they get involved in crypto activity. Now, all three agencies, including the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency and the Federal Deposit Insurance Corp, have joined in reversing those previous policies, leaving crypto matters at banks in the hands of their managers and compliance executives. In the absence of guidance, the banking industry awaits new laws from Congress to define how the digital assets industry should operate in the US. So, I, for one, I can understand there being a need for regulatory compliance. My background working with the government, the federal government as a contractor. I can totally understand. having a need to protect people. You're creating a service for people. There needs to be a set of rules. But in the last, administration with under Biden, they were just giving you things to follow. Well, okay, on the crypto space, there were very, very obscure laws that you should follow if you're a business in the crypto space. Not helpful at all. Very predatory and very, you know, not necessarily innovative, and it blocked a lot of people from releasing good products.
Yeah. Yeah,
The-
and I think in the end it's gonna like push innovation together.
It will, most definitely. So I don't have any other thoughts on this. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. We'll have to wait and see whether this brings a lot of good or, scams become a lot more common. Hopefully, we don't
I
get to
just think
see
it's like
a
any other financial system. Scams are rampant, and you got to be smarter. And I think
true.
education will come. And now that crypto isn't looked upon as just a fad or a giant ass pyramid scheme, more people are going to have education around it, and they're going to start learning about it and finding that hey, there's some utility here. So I'm really excited overall for what the direction is happening.
Yes,
I think it's kind of like early internet. It's going to take a long time, just like the PayPal thing. I still think there's a lot of flaws in it because we have our traditional finance system and it's not quite caught up. But given another 10 years, and I think it's going to be there where, everyone's kind of just using those cryptos and you can actually pay them in a stable coin and they're not going to be worried about currency exchanges. They're just going to use it with maybe, 2% fee on every transaction they do, which is truthfully fine.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm so excited for the space. I believe in the space. I love the technology, and I'm very optimistic for what the future holds as far as the technology gets more adopted. Right now, there's a lot of bad actors, but we've seen this in several industries, not just with crypto. It is easier to do with crypto, I believe, so that's why we're seeing this big influx of scams.
Yeah.
But don't let that discourage you. If you're new in crypto, whether you're new or crypto, just know that there's a lot of promise here, and this is potentially going to, just make this world a lot more convenient as far as adopting money, making it easier to access.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Great. Well, this has been Social Ledger Report. I don't think we have any more updates for you all today. So just tune in every week and subscribe to the channel if you already are not, and leave this video a like.
Bye.
Yeah. Take care, everyone.